guys, my name is Joseph Quilter. I'm the Chief Flight Instructor for Southern Utah University. Today, we're going to be going over how to start one of our B-55-95 Baron aircraft. Now, to begin with, we would start out by briefing the student what the purpose of the flight is, reviewing all of our performance requirements, weight and balance requirements, as well as the syllabus requirements for the flight. Once we were done with that, we would come out and do the pre-flight on the outside of the aircraft. Once the pre-flight has been completed, we're going to come inside, and that's where we're going to pick up today. So the first thing you do once you get into the aircraft is you need to make sure that everything is set. We can adjust the seats to the proper position with both the seat back and forward and aft alignment. Then we need to make sure that our pedals are set in the correct position. In a multi-engine aircraft, you're going to want to be a little bit closer to the pedals so you can have full control authority, even at full deflection, which is going to be very important for OEI or one-engine inoperative type operations. Once that is properly set, we're going to look over our circuit breakers along the bottom rows here and here, as well as this side and this side. There are multiple rows on the circuit breakers, so you want to make sure that you've checked every single one physically to make sure that they're not popped. Once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and get our seatbelt set by inserting the buckle into the receptacle, making sure that that's nice and secured, and then setting it to where it is nice and secure on your waist, but still has enough room on the shoulder strap to be able to reach all of the flight controls. Once you're all strapped into the aircraft and have your headset set up, we're going to go to our checklist. Our pre-flight has already been set. On our pre-flight here, we're going to start by making sure that the parking brake is engaged. Right down here, it has to be engaged with pressure. Once that's done, we're going to go over our passenger brief, which has previously been performed, and make sure that our seatbelts are set. Circuit breakers are checked. The lights are the next thing that we're going to set. So we're going to turn on the beacon in order to make sure that people in the surrounding area know that the aircraft is getting ready to start. We'll do that by flipping this beacon switch on. Then we'll make sure that our props are full forward, which are right here. We're going to set that all the way full forward, make sure that our throttle is in the idle position, and make sure that our mixtures are set for altitude. At the pressure altitude we're operating at today, right around 8,000 feet, we're going to set it to the M, which is going to be appropriate for what we normally see in City City. That will vary as we go to different density altitudes. All right, props, throttles, mixture set, gear handle. This is an important one. We're going to want to make sure the gear handle hidden underneath right here is in the down position before we turn the power on. Because it's an electrically driven gear system, we want to make sure that we're not commanding the gear to rise once we power it up. So the gear is down, and we are now ready to go for our power on. And lastly, we're going to check for our avionics master, making sure that that is off. So our avionics master is right over here as well. Avionics master is off, ready for power on. We always run through the segment before we move on to the next one, so double check that real quick. And we're ready for the starting section. All right, so we're going to go for our battery on. It's going to be done with the key over here. We'll turn that battery to the on position. Then we're going to go through and start the left engine. Now, we're going to repeat the same process for the right engine. We'll kind of fast track that a little bit. We always start with the left engine because that's the critical engine, and because that's going to be on the opposite side of our exit towards the right. That way, if we have any issues, we have the exit still available to us. So we'll start on the left engine by advancing the throttle for prime. Then we're going to turn on the fuel boost here on the left engine to the high setting. And we're going to watch for a fuel pressure to come up, and it's going to spike, and then it's going to stabilize. Because we have cold engines this morning, we're going to allow that to stabilize, wait for about half a second, and then turn that prime off. The warmer the engines are, the less prime we're going to need. So we turn that on, and we see our fuel pressure stabilizing, prime off. We'll go hand to the throttle, we'll set for about 1,000 RPM. Left hand to the left ignition, and before we turn, we're going to make sure that we clear the propeller area. Because we have two propellers now, we have to make sure that we're letting people know which one is which. So we'll make a call of clear left. Clear left! Visually clear, and we're ready to start. So we're going to turn that left engine. As the engine fires, let go of that starter. Then we're going to come over and verify that our oil pressure is climbing into the green. Looks good. Regulating that RPM down to 1,000, manifold pressure climbing, fuel pressure climbing, gauges in the green, looking good. So now that we have a successful start of the left engine, we repeat the process for the right engine. It's going to be up for the prime, hit the right prime, stabilize, bring that back, verified right ignition, right area clear, clear right, and turning right. You'll notice that the right engine is a little bit harder to hear because we have the noise of the left engine kind of working in tandem to each other. Oil pressure is in the green, temperature is climbing, RPM about 1,000, manifold is good, pressure is good. Looking nice and stabilized. Now we're going to go ahead and get our alternators going. Our alternator switch is right over here. We're going to go left alternator first, left alt, off, warning light out, load is up, right alternator on, warning light out, load is up. It's like our electrical system is working. Lastly, we'll turn on our avionics master, get our headsets on. All right. Now we've got our headsets on, things are going to be a little bit quieter, which is always nice. We'll review our startup procedure, make sure that we didn't miss anything. Starting up, throttle set, oil pressure, right engine repeat, alternators, avionics, cool. Now we're going to get ourselves ready for a taxi. As our Garmin fires up, we're going to look over our database, make sure that our navigation is good, our obstacle and safe taxi is expired, that's alright, for the purposes of our flight today. We know that we're legal. We're going to set for our fuel on board today. From our pre-flight we know that we had 73 gallons, so we'll go ahead and set that. From our physical check, burning 24, which is about accurate to what we'll burn on average today. We'll continue that. And that brings up our page on the 750 here so that we can listen to our weather and set up the rest of our instruments. Over on the 500, we're going to do the same thing. Databases are good. You'll see our aviation database is expired. We're using that from the 750 today. And so, we'll listen to weather on COM 2 here.
Cedar City Regional Airport. Automated weather observation 2044 Zulu. Wind 280 at 15, peak gusts
and set 3016 on the bottom. Alright, so calm wind, good visibility. Got our altimeter set 3016 and we are ready to taxi out. At this point we would make our radio call and get on our way. And Cedar traffic, T-Bird 22s leaving the south ramp, taxi runway 20 via Charlie. right, guys, thanks for flying with us today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.